Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tips for Truthers. Today's tip applies to everybody, but it mainly applies to those out there who perhaps make content relating to conspiracy theories and ideas and concepts. But like I said, it does apply to everybody, and this basic piece of advice, which even I struggle to follow sometimes, is to take breaks from this stuff every now and then, and just take some time for yourself. Just to get away from researching these things. Now I had to learn this the hard way. It's easy, when you're in this, to just get lost in it and to forget time and just how much work you've put into this. Before you know, it's 5 years in, and you haven't really left your computer screen or your phone, because you've just been going down one rabbit hole after another, just getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until you're lost. And it can be a struggle to find your way back to the surface sometimes, for some air and perhaps some perspective as well. Now, like I said, I kind of had to take a break. I was doing this maybe for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years or so, and then suddenly work found my channel and forced me to stop making videos under the pretext that I can't be a manager and run a YouTube channel, because the staff would judge me if they found out the type of stuff that I was talking about and wouldn't respect me and therefore wouldn't follow my orders. And also it runs the risk of me perhaps offending certain people based on my controversial opinions and views. But the problem is, it hurt that I had to do that. I wasn't happy that I had to stop. But in retrospect, even though I was kind of forced, I think in the long run, a 5-year break, so it was a long time for me, of making videos and researching these things, actually turned out to be a good thing. Better for me than I actually realized. So some context, during that time, I was making videos about all sorts of things, not just the clown stuff, I touch on every single topic, and I still try and do that and diversify what I talk about. But then I was somehow embroiled in some strange war between people who call themselves MAPs, or minor attracted people, let's say. Virtuous pedophiles is another way of describing it. And some pieces have been written by some ridiculous magazines and news articles online trying to justify the behavior of these individuals and trying to claim that they're innocent and they can't help who they're attracted to, and love is love, and they are an oppressed minority who needs love and understanding and caring, blah 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 blah. And needless to say, this made me very angry. I was not having it. I wasn't being gaslit like this to think that I'm a bad guy for thinking that pedophiles are evil, and I made some angry videos in response to these articles, some very angry videos. I was passionate and viciously angry about it, swearing and all sorts, but I was angry, righteously so, I guess I thought at the time. But it was messing with my head, this rage that was building up in me from just how evil the world truly was becoming. And I think it started to reflect in the way I interacted with people in my day-to-day life quite a lot, and I was quite snappy and defensive and argumentative with everyone else around me because of it, because I was constantly trying to defend myself against evil, vicious trolls online who were supporting this nonsense, and it wasn't fair to my loved ones that I was treating them this way, because they hadn't done anything wrong, but when you're so isolated from the world, constantly thinking about these things, then it's the people closest to you end up taking out your aggression and anger onto, sadly. Now, during that time as well, I had a video outing this article as being pure evil, and it got mass dislikes, like 40 dislikes overnight. And I thought, how the hell is that possible? Instantaneous mass dislikes. Like, my average videos get maybe 3% dislikes, and it's pretty consistent, but this was like 50% dislike instantly. And I figured out that it was a teacher who was teaching their students about this whole minor attracted persons thing, and this teacher must have convinced because they were in this article, this teacher, they must have convinced their entire class to mass dislike my video. And the video doesn't exist anymore on my channel. I had to take it down just for work reasons, like I said earlier. But yeah, like I said, this teacher got their students to mass dislike this video, and that set me over the edge a little bit. And like I said, I was kind of at war, and I made a video that I never released, furiously getting angry about what I discovered about this mass disliking, and then suddenly the channel gets ripped away from me in the midst of all this, and I can't do anything anymore. It's over, And in a way, like I said, maybe I'm thankful for that 5 years. Maybe in a way God kind of saved me there, in a way, from myself, because I was losing grip. I was in fight mode constantly, and I was losing sight of what was important, which was my family and my friends and my loved ones, and more importantly, working on myself, building my career, getting management experience, making some money, being able to support myself, meeting a wife, having children. All that kind of stuff ended up on the back burner because I was just so into this other thing, this conspiracy stuff, and fighting this battle, and I forgot about myself in the process. And a bit of selflessness is a good thing, and it's a good thing, it's a godly thing to be selfless, I understand, but you can't really be selfless unless you've taken care of yourself first. You're no good to anybody if you're a mess, and it was getting to that point where my life was going to be ruined if I carried on the way I was going, basically. I probably would have been in the same situation now 5 years, 6 years later. But because of that break, I met my wife. I met the woman I knew I was going to marry, and we're married now, and we have a beautiful almost 2-year-old son. I have a wealth of experience in working in management, which I wouldn't have got otherwise, which will go with me for the rest of my life now, which has set me up with a solid foundation. I run my own business now, doing something creative I love, with my wife. I have a family, I'm self-employed, I'm a free agent, and now I can make these videos without anybody over me. And that break, that time away to just not think about this stuff at all, and I didn't, I cut myself off from it all. I peeked in every now and then just to keep up with what was going on, but the landscape of conspiracy online was a different world for me 6 years ago when I was first around, and I've kind of come back to it now, and all the people who used to be there are gone. All the people I used to follow on YouTube anymore, or they stopped making videos, or they got banned, or they just disappeared. And I realised they probably never took a break. They kind of burnt out and fizzled away, They got lost to it all and just give up. And that's my advice, I think it's wise every now and then just to take a break, or when you do go on a holiday with your family or something, don't look at this stuff. Just be in the moment and enjoy the holiday and the people you're with, and stop applying everything you learn to every experience you have, and just experience things and enjoy life. You've got to do it. You've got to stay grounded. If you don't stay grounded, you will get lost, and people aren't going to know exactly where you are to find you and pull you back, because it's complicated information. Only you can kind of save yourself in that respect. It's up to you to make sure you remain grounded and calm and collect and in the real world type of thing. So this stuff is important, learning the truth. You do have to do it. Everyone should do this, and I wish everyone could and would, but it's just not the case, unfortunately. And you will drive yourself crazy trying to make everybody know these things. And although it's a job that needs doing, just take the time every now and then to stop and breathe and remember what's important, I suppose. Work on yourself. When it comes to a religious aspect, if you found God through all this research and stuff, God wants your best life for you. That's what He has in store for you, your best life. He's got it all planned out if you just follow His word and do what He tells you. And it might seem like something awful at the time is happening to you, like in my example, losing my channel and not being able to make videos, but the outcome of that was necessary for me to grow, calm down, be able to remain grounded and build a family and have a beautiful life just by getting away from this stuff, you know. And now God has put me in a position where I can openly speak again freely, and I'm better off for it. I feel like I'm calmer and I'm doing it better now than I was then, because I've learned more, I've lived a little, you know, I've got some experience, and I suppose in a way grown up a little bit more. So, you know, what seemed like a tragedy 5 years ago where I got forced to be silent, I think was God used the opportunity to give me a learning and growing experience, and now I can make these videos and not be so invested to the point where I lose myself. Because I know it's people get passionate about these things, and that's fair enough, but I do get comments from people sometimes, you know, that are a little bit crazy, and I can tell, you know, they mean well, but they've just been swimming in this for so long that they've kind of detached themselves from being able to speak like a normal human being, and they speak in a preachy, righteous way, which is difficult to understand because they're hitting on so many points of things they've learned, assuming other people will just understand what they mean when they say these things, because they've taken so much knowledge and information about the corruption around them and the hidden secrets and everything that they just have to tell people, and when they end up trying to tell people, it sounds ungrounded and unstable and weird and out there and rambling and long and insane and preachy and over righteous and overzealous and angry, you know. And I sympathize with those people, you know. I get it, I get why you're doing that, I understand your thought processes and your passion behind it, but I'd say you've lost yourself a little bit, and you're no use to anybody in that frame of mind and in that attitude and that way of being and way of speaking, because people aren't going to listen and they aren't going to pay attention, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't the case, but as I've said before, you know, people don't buy ideas, they buy the person selling the idea, the product. You know, people don't buy products, they buy the person selling the product. So again, this is for content creators, just to avoid burnout and just so you can keep going. Plan out breaks where you just don't look at this stuff, you know.